He is a senior PTI party leader and also has been a close advisor to Imran Khan. Zulfi, thank you so much for joining our program today. I'd first like to ask you, Imran Khan called this protest the last stand, and yet the party decided to call things off. Why?
Well, no one expected such a massacre. We expected forms of brutality and resistance, but no one really thought that, your own armed law enforcement agencies are going to open direct fire in such a heavy manner as they did last night. I can tell you with credibility, and sooner or later it'll come out in the next 48 to 72 hours, but I have an individual who works for me, two actually. One I've tweeted about, and he's still in the public hospital because he got shot between his leg and his hip and his groin, and it's his larger intestine. And so they've had to pull the intestines out and put a bag there. And his family's there, and we're trying to move him to Shifa, which is a private hospital. But we're not being able to because no paperwork of his is being provided. His family who is sitting there, and my own guys that are sitting there. And I hope they don't get arrested now. But I've seen dozens of dead bodies come into the mortuary. In both the polyclinic and in PIMS, which are both government-run hospitals. Mm-hmm. You have your intelligence agencies, and you have the Interior Ministry planted inside and outside. No doctors giving any relief documents for them to relieve bodies over to the deceased families. Nor are they even allowing, like my person, or the person that I know personally, to be even shifted to another private hospital because he might get better care and better treatment. But they're not even allowing that because the bullet hasn't come out of him as yet. So the blockage that you're seeing at the moment and the numbers you're seeing at the moment of 9 only dead is, I promise you, the tip of the iceberg. Unfortunately, it's a lot more than that.
So, Zulfi, you're saying that we can't get an accurate count of how many people were killed in this protest because the hospital is not releasing documents to show that they are confirmed dead or that they were treated. Yet we're also, it's difficult from the outside because we're hearing government sources that aren't confirming these numbers. And we had a journalist earlier on who asked me to kind of ask a gruesome question, like, how can we trust that what you're saying is true?
Look, let me be categorically clear. The government's never going to admit what's going on because they're the ones that have done it. If you've committed murder, you will not be sitting on TV right now saying, I've committed murder of 40-odd people. I speak with a lot of responsibility. I double-check things over and over again before. Even the opposition can vouch that I never put out unreasonable or illogical or untruthful tweet on anything to keep it as factual as possible. I'm telling you with great responsibility that there are about 40 dead, and sooner or later it will come out. I have families. I have workers' families who are sitting there and who are being intimidated, that if you do not take the dead body straight out to your constituency or from their area to get buried, not allowed to stay at work. In some smaller hospitals, money's been taken because they realize that the deceased family will do anything at this time to get the body and leave. So they're even asking money for it. But I can confirm to you that there is around 40 dead. So when you asked me earlier that why did the protest be called off, it's because I promise you, for the love of us, we did not expect them to come in, switch the lights off around the container and around where all the protesters were. So electricity was cut off, sound was cut off. And there's viral videos, which if you want, I can send you, that is just showing bursts of gunfire, and many died. And
Zulfi,
that number, I think, is only going to increase.
I mean, this has attracted worldwide attention. Amnesty International has called out Pakistan for excessive force in dispersing the protesters. That absolutely is on everyone's radar. The question I do have is, the government did say, we'll allow this protest in a designated area, and yet the party urged the protesters to go to Dichok, which was one of the forbidden areas. And people, you know the devotion that people have to Imran Khan. Was Imran Khan and the party putting people in danger by asking them to go to this area instead of staying in the area that was designated for protesting?
Look, first of all, let me make something, the facts or the timeline is a little bit off. The designated area provided by the government wasn't done prior to our protest. It was when we hit the outskirts of Islamabad anyways. Now, for the last 48 hours, and the biggest critic of PTI or myself or Imran Khan can vouch that for the last 48 to 72 hours, from mobile service to internet service has been broken. You're using VPN, and even VPN has really stopped working just until about half an hour ago when the Prime Minister was giving a speech. You can't even download a single picture or a tweet or a video or a voice note. We have a very tight-knit political committee. We could not even send messages barely to each other. The only information that was really being able to get relayed out was to people like me who are on the outside and then have better internet connection. So getting a message across to everybody that you are going to go sit in a new designated area while half the people are staggered across have passed that point also and the other half are not. Now, if you don't go forward, the people that have lingered or have gone in front of you, you're leaving them high and dry, firstly. Secondly, our whole sit-in was, from the day one, we've been saying is a peaceful sit-in. We've been asking for permission for the last 1 year, not a week, not 6 months, not 3 months, not 2 months. Why had the courts have been denying us permission, and then once we're all scattered and the protest is out, how are you supposed to control it? The reality is that when a protest of that magnitude gets out, no one can control it. Not me, not anyone else, because A, your internet is all cut off and there's no phones. But B, it's actually organic protest. So people are just out now and they're charged. It's hard to bring them back. It's not, we're not a military or a militia that is well organized, or we're a political party, and people came out organically and they went their own way. Point is that it was always going to be a peaceful protest. Why were you so scared? Why are you so insecure? Why did you not talk to us earlier? Why did you not give us permission earlier? Even if you haven't and we've come there, just surround us. Give us what governments do. They even provide water for the protesters. Just give us security that we're not attacked and let us peacefully sit there. What can justify anything whatsoever? Going to D-Chok, not going to D-Chok. What could ever justify killing 40 of your own people? I mean, there's no conversation to be had anymore. Right. 40 people are dead.
And 40 people who came out in the name of Imran Khan to ask for his release. We know that in July, the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention said that Imran Khan is a victim of repression. They said that his detention is against international law, and they called for his immediate release. Dawn newspaper also released some pictures of where he's been held, which I'd just like to bring up just to show everyone the kind of condition that he's been in. I would like to ask you, your party has said that the charges against him are politically trumped up. Why do you think that he's being kept in prison in these conditions that we're seeing? I mean, again, this is not the luxury that we're expecting. Someone who's been a world leader who's now a political prisoner.
And I've been to his Banigala home. He has his own gym.
Right.
There, yeah.
So why is he being kept in prison?
Look, sure, I understand. Just to give some context to it, I did the UN report with the lawyers and everything, hired the lawyers, and also I know it inside out. Just to add to what you said about the UN report, they also said that not only that he should be released immediately and that he's in for political victimization, they actually also said that he should be released immediately and given compensation. And they also said that he was kept in prison and these charges were trumped up against him so that he does not partake in the 2024 election. They also said that the people who trumped up these charges and involved in this should be put under inquiry. So you've probably very rarely. I've seen Anwar Ibrahim's, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's working group report. I've seen other people's. Very rarely have you seen a unanimous one-sided report as you did with this UN arbitrary detention working group report. You actually haven't seen that with other was categorically in every stage for Imran Khan, same with Amnesty International. Don't forget, Imran Khan has been given bail on pretty much every single one of his cases that were in the major ones. Only 5 days ago, 6 days ago, he was given bail again, and the judge said for immediate release. And guess what? He was put under remand for 5 days after being